Hello. Bandana Rai.
Morning, Dr. Ahmed.
Are you with us?
I'm there, but I think there is some echo happening at I think your end or somebody's end.
Okay, we will look into it.
Yeah, there is. If you could.
So, good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. K. Sabir Ahmad, FDP coordinator, and I welcome all the participants to the second session of day 4 of this FDP. And today we have the session on life skills by Bandana Rai, founder and chief mentor, Ananya Tech Training Education and Consultancy Services. It is my privilege to introduce the dynamic person. Bandana Rai to all the participants of this FDP. Bandana Rai brings 40 entrepreneurs since 2016. She co-founded Green People under the brand name The Goat Village, Bakrit Hub, and has been working towards the cause of reverse migration by creating sustainable livelihood opportunities for rural communities. The Green People organization she co-founded won number of awards, including Gold Award at WTM London, World Responsibility Tourism Award 2019, Gold Award at Indian Responsible Tourism Awards 2019. In 2020, she founded Ananya Tech Training, Education and Consulting Services with an aim to contribute towards emotional and professional growth of different communities in changing times. His postgraduate diploma in business administration from Symbiosis. She had worked with reputed brands like Taj Group of Hotels, Amity University, and led many management projects along with her marketing, L&D, CRM, and strategic management roles. Interpersonal relationship management, effective communication skill, motivation, conflict resolution, work-life balance are few of the key areas of her expertise. Her list of clients include Indian Post, ONGC, PGCL, Videocon, DTL, etc. She has been a marketing and service management teacher and has designed and delivered many PG and UG level courses. Counseling and career guidance has been her most favorite activity in industry, academic, and student engagement roles. She contributed as a lead resource for volunteer recruitment and training of 25,000 plus volunteers for Commonwealth Games 2010. She also trained for Earn While You Learn program for the Ministry of Tourism. So this is her brief introduction, and today we are very fortunate to have Bandana Rai as the resource person for our FDP on behalf of the Department of Mechanical Engineering and all the participants and organizers of the FDP. I extend warm welcome to Bandana Rai to this FDP. Thank you, madam. Welcome to you, and over to you for the session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sabil. Thanks a lot for this platform and this introduction. Am I audible to everybody? I hope there is no
Yeah,
disturbance.
you're audible.
Yeah, thank you. So now, before we start with the session, a little submission from my side, as we are largely dependent on technology and connectivity. In case there is some kind of break in connectivity or audio, please tell me immediately, unmute yourself and tell me so that I can look at the connection part of it. It may take anything between 1 to 5 minutes for me to get the connection back. It shouldn't happen, but just keeping you informed in case, because it may impact the flow of our session today. Now, before I start with the session, I would like to understand from you all that when we're talking of something like creativity, when we're talking of something like stress management, what comes to your mind? What is the relation between creativity and stress management? Because you all being creative, researchers, academicians, educators sitting out here, what is your perspective about it? What is the relation between creativity and stress management, or if there is any relation? Have you ever seen that, or you have felt, or you have realized or experienced that stress and creativity has impacted each other somewhere? You wanted to write something, you had a different mindset, you had some kind of issue going up, overuse of mind and stress caused you to it, all right, caused you to it. Happiness, all right. Mr. Madhusudan, what is the relation between happiness and stress and creativity that we're talking over here? Would you like to unmute and elaborate on that?
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Regarding if you are happy, we can be able to manage our stress related things or any other unconfident related things very
Mm-hmm.
easily. If we are
Mm-hmm.
happy, then only we can handle those things. That's
All
my
right.
answer.
Okay, okay. So you're saying that happiness helps you to, take care of your stress and helps you to manage your stress better. Very
Somewhat,
valid point. Yeah.
somewhat.
So have you ever realized that, stress has also impacted your creativity or your creative mindset? You are unable to perform when you are stressed or any such issue?
Yes,
The
madam.
more creative we are, stress can be managed easily. Yes, Dr. Jina, would you like to elaborate on that? Have you experienced any such, situation wherein creativity has helped you to manage your stress? Any example you'd like to discuss here? Dr. Jina, you can unmute and talk.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, if we pursue our hobbies, then
Mm-hmm.
if we are more creative while pursuing those
Mm-hmm.
hobbies, then I think
Yeah.
that it helps us to understand what are our expectations and how much we are able to fulfill, and then we are able to manage the stress properly.
True,
Thank
very
you.
true. So you're saying that when we are doing something which we love to do, and we are really not able to focus on the key assignment or the key responsibility, then switching to something which you love to do, which we also call as our hobby, takes you
Yeah.
out of stress, and then you can focus on the thing better. Very, very good perspective. And many of us do it. I have seen people getting back to singing, getting back to cooking, getting back to painting, or getting into some kind of creativity when they are unable to really focus on their key responsibility. Any other perspective? Good environment and friends, definitely. Good friends, good people around, that helps you to manage your stress better. So here today, what we're going to actually look at it as a general mindset said that, especially in education, I have seen, with whatever number of years I have spent in industry or academia, I've seen people are unable to perform when they are stressed. Maybe it's due to some personal issue or due to some financial issue or something back at work. You are unable to really focus on your prime responsibility, and then you actually get diverted and you start looking at something else which can make you happier. That is definitely one technique to manage your stress. What we are going to discuss here today is what is the relation between creativity and stress. How a creative mindset is actually the kind of mindset that you are into when you are stressed. So, what is the similarity or what are the complementing attributes of a creative mindset and a stressed mindset? Once we have understood that, we will look at different creative techniques to address the existing problem. So instead of moving to doing something else with your creative mindset, we are going to use the same stressed mindset as a creative person, because there is lots of complementing attributes of a creative mindset and a stress mindset, and we are going to see that how that same mindset can be used so to resolve the current issue or the current cause of stress. And then we look at couple of techniques, creative techniques. We are also going to talk about what are the areas how we can actually manage our students, the people who are looking up to us for any kind of problem resolution, for whom we are the role models. It could be your students, could be your family back at home, could be your neighbors. So we are also going to look at that how we ensure a stress free or less stressed, or a community which is able to enable our community to manage the stress. So all these things we are going to do in coming another 1 hour 15 minutes. 15 minutes are already gone. Before I start with the session, there are a couple of riddles and puzzles which I have got for you, just to brush up just to sharpen your creative part of your mindset. So while we are discussing about it, please don't go to Google or any such assistance to get the answers, because all these riddles have their answers on Google. So don't try to go to Google. Try to get the answers on your own and respond only when I ask for it. So we give enough time to everybody to think about the answers of this riddle, and we share the answer only once everybody has had their thought on the riddle and they have they have done something about their creativity. So allow me 10 seconds before I start with the presentation. Now, while I'm doing the presentation, is it visible to everybody now? Just write yes in the chat box if it's visible to you.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Wonderful. So now,
Super.
while I'm doing the presentation, once I'm on the presentation screen, I won't be able to see the things happening in the chat box. So what I recommend that during the presentation, if you want to share something, if you want to ask a question, or you want to share an input or an experience, or there is some lack of clarity, some disagreement, just unmute and talk there, because I can listen to you, but I won't be able to see the chat box while I'm presenting. However, after every 2-3 slides, I'll be coming back to chat box. If there are any questions, we'll address it and then we'll get back to the presentation. So with this, I begin with the presentation. Now, if you look at this is the first riddle which I'm going to share. Please don't answer to it now. We'll be discussing the answer at the end of the session, and also don't go to Google to find an answer for yourself. So the first riddle over here is, this is a basket, a wooden basket, a cane basket actually, with the 6 eggs in it. Now in the morning, I had this basket with 6 eggs. I have my 6 neighbors who stay close to me. I've given 1 egg to each neighbor. So all the 6 eggs have actually gone to neighbors. 1 egg is given to each neighbor. But still, there is 1 egg lying in the basket. How is it possible? So I repeat the riddle. There is this cane basket I had in the morning. I had 6 eggs in the basket. I have given 1 egg each to my 6 neighbors, but still there is 1 egg lying in the basket. How is it possible? Don't share the answer. Don't talk about it. Think about it without taking help of Google. If you already know the answer, please have some patience. We'll discuss it at the end of the session. All right. So with that, we start with today's session. That is how creative thinking is a methodology, is a technique, is a very beautiful tool, a very useful tool to manage your stress. The key areas which we are going to look at, which I have already discussed, I repeat, we're going to understand what causes stress, what actually stress is all about, to enable self to understand the attribute of a creative thinker. So we'll see that what is the similarity between a creative thinker and a stressed mindset. Then we will look at a couple of very, very important, very useful techniques of creative thinking, which can help us to manage our stress, find the solution to our existing problems. And we will also look at these, how we can use these techniques, these tools to help our, community, to manage our workplace, manage our personal space. So with that, first I come to stress. Now, before I tell you what is stress, what comes to your mind? What is stress? The moment I say stress, what comes to your mind? You can just unmute and talk, or you can just write in the chat box. I have come to the Meet window. So Overwork, all right. Anything else apart from overwork? The moment I say stress, what is the anger? All right, Vikram. Anybody else? Tension. Okay. Become lazy. So if you look at the responses that we're getting for stress, they are all some kind of negative emotion or a negative situation, depression, lots of negativity with all these words. So the moment we talk about stress, the first thing that comes to our mind is something negative, something unpleasant, something which is not comfortable. Whereas there is something uneasiness, all right.
Not audible, not audible. No voice.
From your setting, it is muted, madam. You unmute.
Is it audible now?
Okay, okay, okay. Now
Yeah,
it's
thank
audible.
you so much. Thanks a lot. So now, if you look at the definition of stress here, it's about any situation or any stimulant or any change or any action that is making you more alert. So when you are stressed, you are more alert, you are more into a doer's situation. When you are unable to manage this alertness, when you are unable to manage this change, that is where it goes into a vicious cycle, and you become lazy, you become angry. But to begin with, stress is always a neutral condition wherein it's pushing you to be more alert, it's pushing you to be more be more action oriented. It's only our further response to this first stimulus that decides whether we are going negative or we are going positive. So with that, we can have two different types of stress. One is a positive, one is a negative stress. Positive, or the motivator, is when the moment you get that stimulant or that change in your life, or that phase of transition, you become alert, you start responding towards it, you start identifying the ways to address it. And that is where stress becomes a very positive, a great catalyst in your growth. Whereas it goes negative if you keep sitting over it, if you don't do anything about it, if you keep escaping from the situation, then the same catalyst, the same situation becomes a drainer for you. So stress in itself is not a negative word, it's not a negative emotion, it's not a sad situation, it's not an unhappy situation. It's just an stimulant, just a cause, just a change which is getting you in a more alert situation. So now if we talk of stress, it's not always negative, but there is something called as positive stress also. And that positivity or negativity is decided by the kind of response or action that we take when that change happens in our life, or something which we are not prepared for, something sudden is coming in front of us, a situation, a person, an environment, an outcome which you never expected. So how to deal with it, that entire plan, that entire action decides whether it's positive or it's negative. Then stress can be acute, episodic, acute, or chronic. So the same thing, if it's happening once in a while, like today you had a class at 9:30, you slept late last night, you had some family get together, or there was some health issue, you got up late, so there is a fraction of some few minutes or maybe an hour that you are under stress, you are unable to meet up with your timeline, and as the day proceeds, you forget about it, you get into your daily routine, and that becomes an occasional thing. So that's not really a thing of worry, we all are human, it's a normal, natural, real life that we are having. So these kind of stress is all right. The second one is when the same thing starts happening often, 3 day a week you are reaching late for your work, five out of 10 projects that is given to you, it's not meeting up with the timeline. Most of the month, by end of the month, you are your liquidity or your cash flow at home is getting affected, you don't have enough money to pay the fee or to buy an asset or do something which you or your family is longing to. So it's happening often with you, so then it becomes episodic, acute. And the last one is which is chronic. Now, in chronic stress, the main cause, the root cause is maybe something which has happened in your childhood or in your past, and you are deeply affected by that. So maybe you have seen some person behaving in a given situation, and that is what you feel, that is how this situation must be dealt with. So maybe you have seen somebody getting angry time and again, and everybody listening to that person. So with a small little trigger also you get angry. So that anger has become your escape to come out of that situation. So then it becomes a chronic concern. Now, for acute and episodic acute situation, creativity is a great way to work. You can just use your creative self, and in isolation you can really deal with the issue. But in case of chronic stress, alone creativity cannot help. Here you need to have some kind of coaching, some kind of counseling, some kind of root cause analysis. Definitely creative will become a part of arriving to the solution, but here you need better support. It's a longer process that is needed to solve this kind of a stress. So with this, now one more slide we'll have on understanding stresses. What causes stress? The first thing when it comes to our mind is overworking, overdoing things. But if you really go into the detailing of stress, what all can cause stress, there are n number of reasons, the n number of factors that can cause stress. Environmental, the way we are dealing with pollution, the noise, the traffic issues all around, the weather condition, all across, the country, be it rural part or urban or suburban, everywhere we have this environmental issue that been talked about, and that is really creating lots of stress for almost all of us. Then comes the social causes. Social causes, this is one of the very, very deep and largely observed cause of stress, wherein because of relationship with your parents, with your spouse, with your kids, with your colleagues, with your friends, with your neighbors, people are actually having sleepless nights. They are unable to manage their life. They don't know how to deal with it. There are ego issues, there are emotional issues, don't know how to manage it. A common question that comes over here: how to deal with a bad boss, how to deal with somebody who's not letting you grow, how to deal with somebody who's not ready to listen to you. So these are the key causes of stress. Also about peer pressure, like my cousin has got so and so, has got a house in so and so location, so I should also have. My friend has got this kind of a promotion or this kind of asset, so I should also have. So that kind of a peer pressure also causes stress. Then many of our stresses are our self-created, our set of expectations that we have set for ourselves, the expectation management with the self. We want to achieve things which maybe is not the right time to think about it, but now because due to peer pressure or some past experience or some complexes building up inside, we have that kind of expectation with self, and when not achieved, we come under stress. And then comes physiological. Till last year, I never thought how your health can be such a big stress for you, because you are unwell, you have fever, you have lack of sleep, and then you take medication and you're all right of it. So it never stressed me till the time last year on 18th of May. My father, who's like now 76 years, he had a brain stroke. So when that night I realized that what is this health, aging, illness, lack of sleep, how it can become a cause of stress. And today my biggest fear, even if I have worked on it, I'm using lots of techniques to work on it, and accepting the life, accepting the fact that parents do age and we will age one day. But still, with all of that, my biggest fear today and the biggest cause of stress today is my aging parents. Because every time that the phone rings and I see their name on that, the first thought, which initially used to be kind of happiness, is now fear that what I'm going to hear now. So these are the causes of stress, which we keep thinking about it. The list will go on and on. So here, without actually wasting too much of time in terms of understanding what all can cause stress, let's look at the areas, the ways by which we can address these stresses, irrespective of what are the causes, how using certain tools and techniques we can actually respond to this, whatever is the reason of stress. Now, before I move ahead and I talk of the stress management techniques, I would like to understand from all of you, Are we on the same page? Just say yes in the chat box if we are on the same page.
Yes, yes, madam, you're on the
Yeah?
same page.
Same page.
Same page.
All right. Anything you'd like to, anybody would like to unmute and talk about it over here when we're talking of, because now causes are done, we are moving to how to resolve stress. So we are getting into the solution part of it. So before I get into solution part of it, you feel that there is something you'd like to talk which I have not discussed, or you have something to add to it? Anyone?
I think
Yeah.
everything is covered. Everything is covered.
Okay, Dr. Murthy. So now I come to what are the general, if you look at the traditional way of, stress management, a very, you must have done so many sessions by now on stress management. You must have read so much, you must have written so much and researched so much. So there are certain very common techniques of stress management, which I will quickly cover here before I get into the creative mindset. People ask you to relax, go for a walk, go take a nice nap, go for some kind of meditation, or do some yoga, do some relaxing, breathing exercises. So you are asked to relax, or you are asked to regenerate, get into some kind of rejuvenation, some holiday, some, vipassana, or some kind of, getting back to the with your positive energy. So do things for getting into a regenerate your positive self, or you're getting back to your high energy level. Then reorganizing, many times, the in our life we have so much of chaos that we have created, both in terms of material and in terms of our thoughts. So you are asked to just sit and, organize your thoughts, organize your stuff, organize your cupboard. So that also creates lots of positivity and lots of good energy flows in our system, and that helps us to manage stress. Then rewarding yourself, going for a treat, or spending some family time, going for a party with your friends, just going and watching a movie, or going for a day out, or going for a vacation. So these are the rewards one can give to self to manage your stress. And if there are some issues with the situation, with the person, then we're asked that go and address, connect with the person, communicate, listen to the person, look at what are the issues there, what is his thought or her thought, what is bothering him. Here, in resolving the stress, a very good technique which I personally use is objectifying the entire situation. So instead of you being a part of the situation, what you do, that you move out of the situation, in your thoughts. Look at you, maybe you have an issue with your spouse, so look at you and your spouse as a third party, as a husband and a wife who are discussing an issue, or who are trying to resolve an issue. And when you have a holistic view of the thing, and objective view of the thing, you will actually understand the other person's perspective, understand where you are right, you are wrong, understand what is the perspective the other person has got, and then come to a common solution. So that is one of the very good technique to resolve the issue. But if you look at all these different types of strategies, different strategies to manage your stress, redoing something is very common. Go and resolve, reorganize, regenerate, relax. So every time you're asked to do it again. And that is exactly what we do in creativity. Creativity is about understanding the problem and come up with set of solutions. Don't just go for what suits you or what you have been doing, but think out of the box. Look at options, available options for a given situation, and then whatever suits you, whatever you think will get you the fetch you the right solution, start working on that path. That is what creativity is all about. Creativity is not just painting, or not just cooking, or not just stitching, or not just writing, or not just photography. Creativity is also about your approach of looking at things differently, looking at different solutions to the same problem. So now, as I had told you earlier, that there is lots of commonalities, there is lots of complementing, features between a creative mindset and a stress mindset. Either you have the similar attribute when you are creative and when you are stressed, or your creative mindset is a response to the stress mindset, certain attributes of a stress mindset. So we look at it one by one. A stressed mindset is very, very curious. Same as a creative mindset. A creative mindset is curious to identify new problems and come up with the solutions, because your creative self wants to live to the fullest. Whereas a stressed mindset is curious to know, when am I going to come out of it? Is curious to know when it's going to get over, is curious to know what the other person is thinking, is curious to know why I'm always being mistaken, is curious to understand why I'm having so much of financial issue, whereas people who are earning similar kind of income as mine, they are having a much better lifestyle. So here the curiosity is about, why am I in such a difficult condition? And a creative mindset is curious to know what new problems I can see, which I can identify the solution and come up with the creative way to handle it. So there is a commonality here. A creative mindset seeks problem. Why? Because unless until you have problem, how you will come up with new ideas, new theories, new ways to live your life? And stress mindset is full of problems. So what a creative mindset wants, a stress mindset already has that attribute, that is full of problem. Then a creative mindset enjoys challenges. Gets very boring, gets very monotonous for a creative person if you have to live a normal life every day, if you have to do same things, same kind of issues, same kind of people, same environment every day. So they enjoy challenges, they want newness, they want new, ideas, new issues, new situations to come in front of them, so that they can address it better. And a stress mindset is full of challenges. Here again, what a creative mindset needs, a stress mindset is full of that particular attribute. Then creative mindset is very, very optimistic. Why optimistic? Because you can't give up unless until you get the final solution. So you keep shortlisting your solutions unless until you reach to the final solution. So you are very optimistic, and a stressed mindset needs to be optimistic, because you have gone stressed, because that trigger, that change, that transition that happened in your life, you have responded to, either you have not responded, you have escaped, or you have responded with lots of fear and insecurity, and you have become very, very, you have gone into the negative zone. So you need to be optimistic, and the moment you become optimistic, you have the same mindset as a creative person. A creative mindset needs to be non-judgmental. Means, till the time that you keep judging the person, judging the situation, judging the solutions, the options, you will not really experiment with that, you will really not follow that, you will really not connect with that. So a creative mindset needs to be is generally very, very non-judgmental, whereas a stress mindset has got lots of judgment, lots of biases, lots of perception, that this cannot be done, this I cannot do, this will go wrong with me. So a creative mindset in this case is a response to the problems that a stress mindset is having, and that is a very, very judgmental mindset. Both creative mindset and stress mindset are full of imaginations. If you look at it today and for a minute go back in past and look at the top 10 stress causes of stress that you had in your life, you'll find 5 out of those 10 causes were all your imagination. It never happened. It was all your fears and insecurity. You look at year 2020, how we all started in March. So much of imagination. The entire stress was because we may lose some dear one, we may fall sick, we won't be able to meet up with people, we are going to lose job, how I'm going to manage bread and butter. Year 2021, fortunately, God's grace, most of us, maybe somebody has few of the fears I have come true, but most of us, we are sitting healthy with our jobs like that, looking forward to getting back to the normal life, getting back to office, getting back to our work, doing things the way we wanted to do, meeting up with people the way we used to meet. Everything is as it is. But in March, April, May, June, the first half of last year, we had so much of insecurity, so many fears, and all was imagination. So imaginative mindset is a very, very common attribute between a creative mindset and a stressed mindset. And last but not the least, perseverance. A creative mindset keeps working to identify the final solution till the time that they get it. A stress mindset also has got this attribute, but they have this determination, that perseverance to ensure that they are stressed forever. There is no willingness, there is no, if I am stressed, I will remain in this situation. I am having this fear, I'll keep fearing, I'll keep having those insecurities in my life. So perseverance is there both the ways. One is optimistic, the other one is pessimistic. It's just that we need to respond that pessimism with the optimistic attribute of a creative mindset. So if you look at this slide here, we have clearly established, or we have understood, that there is lots of commonalities or complementing attributes between a creative mindset and a stressed mindset. Any question about this slide? Because this is very important for us to understand that what is the commonalities between a creative mindset and a stress mindset. So here what I'm going to further talk about is that when you are stressed, when you feel that nothing can be done, don't escape and get into something else. Definitely that is one of the way you can use it, sometime leaving it and getting into something which you enjoy doing. But then understand, leaving it, actually you have left your problem as it is. So instead of that, that all the attributes, the kind of thoughts that is going on in your mind, you have to just change the approach. You have to just being optimistic, understand that all the issues, all the challenges that I'm facing now has a solution to it. Just believe in that and start using your creative self to handle that particular problem or that particular issue. And that is where we will now talk about what are the different strategies, creative strategies, which can be used in such situations wherein you have got some cause of stress and you want to respond it in a given way. So now, before I start, are we clear about the relationship between a stress mindset and a creative mindset? Anybody? You have anything to talk about, or you have experienced something which you want to share, or some question related to stress management, the techniques that we have spoken about? Anything as of now? Anybody wants to write or unmute and talk? Feel absolutely free. Everybody is clear? All right. Thank you, Dheeraj. Okay. So now I come to the next slide, and we start with creativity. Now, before we get into creative thinking and the tools and the ways to use it, creativity actually was, this term was introduced by Edward de Bono in the book Mechanism of Mind, wherein he talks about generating lots of ideas, lots of possible solutions, just lots of, look at lots of options before you arrive to the final one, or a combination of 1 and 2. So before you actually get into the final action, you must explore lots of things, lots of thoughts around that particular problem, and then you should come up with the final answer. So there are many creativity technique which you will hear, which you will, you must be aware of, or you must have used. Here we are largely going to talk about the 4 techniques, out of which reframing is the most relevant one, the most, which personally I have used many times and it really helps. Then there is something as brainstorming. We keep doing it with our students, with our family, with ourselves, and mind mapping. Many of you must have done it. We will do it again today from our stress management point of view. And the last but not the least is insight. Many of us have got that something called as gut feel, that we look at problem and we know what is the solution. So how to develop that insight is what we're going to talk about. Now we begin with reframing. Reframing, as the name says, is all about changing frame of the current situation. So many times, when we are redoing our house, or we are redoing our living area, or the drawing room, or the bedroom, so we change the color scheme, we change the furnitures, we change the linen, we change the wall and the decor of the room. But there many times you'll see that there are these black and white old time pictures of maybe your best friend or your grandparents or your entire joint family. The photo has really gone, the print has really gone, kind of blurred. But you don't want to get away with this, because looking at that picture, that's very connected to you. Even if nothing is visible, that piece of paper is very important for you. You want it to remain there. So what do? But it's not going with the current decor of the room. So what do? You change the frame of that picture. You get a nice wooden or a nice ceramic or maybe nice glass frame around it. matching with the decor of the room, and the entire picture starts looking totally fresh. You get a new perspective of the frame of the picture, and it goes with your current environment. And that is what we do in reframing when we use this technique of resolving our problem, looking at the same situation, looking at the same trigger, looking at the same change, looking at the same challenge from different perspectives, till the time that we identify that what is the thing behind it, how it can help me to grow in my life. So now we will talk about it with the help of one example. Generally, reframing is done in organizational, for your organizational issues also. Maybe, the number of students admitted is less because of COVID, or maybe the number of students that you're getting for last 3-4 years, this year you've got half of it, or maybe students are withdrawing admission, or so there could be anything related to organization, or maybe you're not getting a great feedback from students about the academic quality of the institution. So that is the cause of stress, maybe student feedback or student admission or the revenue, incoming revenue for your institution. So the perspective could be the product perspective, that are you having good labs? Are you having good quality teachers? Have you upgraded your library, or have you upgraded your campus, or the techniques by which the students are taught? Then you can look at the planning perspective, that did you start your admission process well in advance? So if not, then this year you must start for the next year admission. So all these things come under the planning perspective. Then looking at it from people perspective, that how your students are looking at it, how are you engaging with your parents, how is your non-teaching staff, are they supportive, is there some kind of growth and the research help that the faculty needs. So that is looking at it from people's perspective, and then looking at it from potential perspective. Maybe you're not optimizing the number of classrooms that you have, or maybe you're not optimizing the kind of faculty that you have. Maybe you have got good faculty for a given area, maybe for branding you have got very good faculty members, so should you start a course in branding? So looking at different perspectives, you will come up with lots of new areas, and that will help you in growth of the institution. So that was about reframing stress from institution point of view. Now we'll come into our personal space. A very common cause of stress that I have, over the years, whenever I have these sessions on stress management, is the financial issue. Not having enough financials, not able to create the asset that you want to create, not earning as much as your cousin or your siblings or your friends are earning, not being able to support your parents because of financial concern. So financial issue has always been the prime cause of stress, especially in our sector, for the kind of what you call remuneration that is there, the kind of sectorial benchmark that is being set. Financial stability is always an area which bothers educators. So I picked up this particular area, and let's reframe it and look at it from different perspectives. So the first perspective is your personal perspective. So now you know that you are unable to manage your finances, you are unable to earn the way you should, or you are capable of, or you are not capable of. So what kind of personal perspective we need to look at it? How do we reframe this problem, this particular challenge, this particular condition, and come up with the solution? So personal perspective could be my skill sets, whether I have those skill sets or not. So maybe I'm comparing with my friend, or maybe I'm comparing with one of my neighbors. So the kind of skill sets that they have, or the kind of skill set that is needed for my growth to the next level in the organization, do I have those skill sets? Am I good at in investment? Maybe people are good at investment. I don't know how to, manage, roll my money, whatever I'm getting. Or it may so happen that I'm becoming over ambitious. I see that people of my profile, of my experience, my kind of giving are getting similar kind of remuneration. So that means I'm earning well. It's just that maybe under peer pressure, I'm getting over ambitious. 1 second. So that is about having a personal perspective, a perspective to understand yourself, understand your limitations, understand your opportunities. So once you have looked at it and you have realized that no, there is some concern, either I need to work on my skill set, or I need to now manage my finances, look at my numbers more. So then you look at people's perspective. People here is your family, your friends, your colleagues, your head of institution, your seniors, your parents. Look at them, that how they are looking at it. Is it you who is thinking that people are judging you because you are not earning well, or they are all right with it? Or you can look at, getting some kind of support from the family. Maybe your wife is very good in terms of cooking, or maybe your husband is very good in terms of investment, so you can take their help to manage your finances better. Or maybe you have got good kids, who are growing, who want to do something on their own, they want to be independent, so support them to start writing blogs or start writing reviews or getting into photography. Look at your parents, ask them how they manage their problems, their financial issues, how they did it when they were, when you were growing. Then talk to your colleagues, what are the things that they are looking at. So when you start looking at people around, many times they come up with the solutions, they come up with the support which you are not aware of it. But here the most important thing is that you need to communicate, you need to connect with them, you need to understand, you need to allow them to understand you, to help you. Many times what happens, especially I have seen it with females, whenever we are stressed, we try to do it all. We are yes for everything. We always are in a space of I can do it, I must do it, I will do it. But at times we need to look at and we need to communicate that I cannot do it. This is not possible by me. This is not possible for me. I am overworked. So unless until you go and you tell people, they will not get it in their dreams that you are into some kind of discomfort, or you're unable to manage that particular trigger in your life. So connecting with people is very important here, to get their perspective and get their support in your life. Then potential perspective. At times when you feel, looking at yourself that, maybe I'm being underpaid, maybe I'm not happy, and that is why all this is happening. If I was happier doing what I am doing, I would maybe earn more. So in this case, you need to look at what are the career options you have. Do a kind of a SWOT there, that what are the things that you're getting here which you will not get a new job. Maybe when you are into government sector, but if you move to private sector, what are the kind of insecurities you will have to handle, what kind of compromises you will have to do. Or maybe you are in a private sector and you want to get into government sector, so you have to match up your self analysis with the available opportunities and challenges in other career options, and then look at the other options if available, or if suits you, or if matches with your expectation. Also, being in the same job, there are many especially in this online era, in last 1 year we have learned, being with your current job, you can look at many part-time things, or many weekend assignments, or many occasional or contractual or a project-based assignment, and where you can earn more. So maybe for that you need to get a new skill set, or maybe you need to network more, maybe you need to talk to people, or you need to go and tell your HOI that, see, I can also handle these responsibility because I have got some financial concern, why not you're giving this opportunity to me. So with the additional opportunity will come additional revenue to you. So like using your network, using your potential, understanding yourself, you can create new additional income opportunities. And last but not the least, you also need to look at your planning part, that see, finances are about incoming, how much you're saving and spending. So you have to look at that, out of these three areas, maybe you are getting enough, but in terms of your spending habit, you are spending under peer pressure, or you are spending too much even if it's not needed, or you are just unable to tell your family that this is the limit, this is the boundary which we need to set, and then we need to move ahead. So looking at all of it, you also need to revisit your planning, that how much are you saving 30% of your income like a standard rule. Have you invested enough? Have you created enough assets? Maybe you are just getting insecure. If you look at it in compartments, you feel that everything is right. It's just your internal thought, or your process, your mental process, that is bothering you so much. So giving different perspective, just keep thinking about that. I don't have enough money, I don't have enough cash flow, I have not created enough for my family is not happy with me because I'm not earning so well, I'm unable to do things for my parents, they were doing much better when they were of my age. Just getting into so much of thoughts and negativity and prolonging it and getting into an obvious, kind of a cycle which is a never ending cycle. It's better to look at the perspectives. So these were the 4 sample perspectives I spoke about. Apart from this, there are many other reframing perspectives, which depending on the situation, depending on the challenge, depending on the trigger that you are having because of your stress, you can use one of these or couple of these perspectives. Another perspective could be the meaning of the problem, that how much does it mean to you. If you look at the financial part of it, or maybe generally in relationship, if somebody is really bothering you, is attacking your ego all the time, is not taking care of your esteem and respect, you have to look at how much that person means to you, how much that person's presence mean to you, what additions, what are the things that you are achieving out of that presence, not in terms of material, but in terms of your peace, in terms of your happiness. And if it's not contributing in those positive area, then it's maybe not worth resolving it. Maybe you need to move on from there. So understanding meaning of a relationship or a situation helps you to arrive to the, or maybe it means a lot, maybe that person is very short tempered, but otherwise it getting lots of happiness. So comparatively, you are getting more happiness, more peace, more companionship, more more positivity than those couple of incidents of negativity. So there you just need to let it be. Nobody's perfect. So then understanding the context, where the other person is coming from, what is the context? Maybe your parents are very angry. So what is the context? What is their expectation? Communicate. For understanding, using all these, applying all these perspective, communication is one of the great tools. Communication with self and communication with others who are part of that particular environment. Then adding a sense of humor. Many times things are not so great, you can just laugh it out, you can just laugh and move on. So that, and especially in education, I have seen people, after given time, we lose that sense of humor. We don't have that acceptance for the lightness in our life. So we need to create, we need to get into that, we need to look at, you need to watch lots of these comedy shows, add lots of humor in your life. Then the solution, looking at different solutions, not just one, but some solution which you have never tried, which you have never done, but someone else has done, and may you can use it this time. There is always the next time. Then silver lining. All the problems that we have in life always have an opportunity. Again, I would quote example of 2020. We all have learned so many new skills, so many development programs we have done only because it was in online mode. Before 2020, a training or a development program means one-on-one interaction. Online development was never given the kind of weightage it has got now. Those online certificates that you're getting through these programs has got so much of weightage now because this was the only option now. So there is always a silver lining in any given problem. And then understanding others' point of view, listening to them as with an objective view, listening to them as for a holistic approach of the situation. And also, we have our role models, maybe our parents or our seniors or our colleagues who have dealt with the similar situation in a given way. Or many times in movies, we have got some situations being handled in a given way, which we can use in our own life, as per our understanding, as per our context, as per our environment. So now we can see that there are so many perspectives to a given solution which can be used, and we can come up with lots of solutions without actually dwelling, without actually getting negative because of a trigger or because of a change or because of an unexpected event in our life. So as I said, reframing is the most important, the most used technique of creative thinking. Now, before I move to the rest of the 3 techniques that we have spoken about, I want to understand, is it clear to everybody now? Reframing technique, because this is what, looking at perspective, changing perspectives of life. Is it clear to everybody? Thank you, Madhusudan. All right. Yeah, anybody wants to talk about anything? Have you used this technique? I'm sure whatever I'm talking today is not rocket science. You must have used it many times. It's just that we have structured it in a way that we all come on the same page, and we are rebrushing our thoughts about using perspective. Anybody has any perspective you have used it in a given situation which you'd like to share with us, because here in these sessions it's more about the dialogue that we create. The more we share about our, experiences, the things that we have used in our life, the way that we have handled stress. Anybody would like to talk? You can just unmute and talk. Anyone? Anything that comes to your mind when I was talking of reframing?
Madam, conducting personality development programs,
Okay.
uh, some kind of experts like they are giving this stress management kind of
Mhm.
lectures, like
Mhm.
Guruji, those people
Mhm.
who are working with Adhyatma and all. So they
Mhm.
can do some kind of motivation thereby
Yeah.
people can really go to the stresses. And these days
True.
it is
True.
very much required, like, because particularly the young boys, okay, and students who belongs to the engineering category,
Mhm.
definitely they are stressed, particularly nowadays due to the destructive kind of an
Mhm.
approach, like
True.
smartphone usage has created a lot of problems in the present uh, cycle. So there are a
Mhm.
lot of activities needs to be conducted so that they need to be motivated towards the positive attitude. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of stresses are there, like, so students are not studying properly, not concentrating on their studies, and they're not coming out of the good colors, and not prepared for the interviews and getting good opportunities. There are so
Mhm.
many opportunities which are available in the market, like, but these are not serious about their vision and the dreams of their parents. So their the lack of things are there to be discussed, madam.
True, Mr. Murthy. Actually, if you're talking of younger generation, in fact, we'll come to that slide how we can make a difference in that. But listening to these motivational talk, these life skills, these things about the experiences of life. Like basically, if you listen to all of it with your open mind, it really helps. I have personally seen, listening to these. I really don't follow a given thought, but I listen to all of their thoughts, and they are very very thought provoking. They actually end of it, you understand that we end up taking our life too seriously. It's not worth it. We plan too much. We try to strategize things. We try to do lots of things, and in the entire bargain of doing, we are unable to. We forget actually to enjoy the achievements. So maybe I have spent years together to get my PhD, but the day I got my PhD, the day I get that prefix of doctor in my name, that day maybe I was so busy in another project that I didn't treat myself. I didn't treat my family. I didn't enjoy it. Maybe I made a Facebook post and a LinkedIn post, and that is it. That is my celebration. And then I'm again busy into getting something more. And I forgot that those 3-4 years which I have spent just to get that one prefix is worth so much of celebration. And celebration is not just about writing a post. It's not just about changing your name on your name tag or in your profile. It's about feeling happy about it, getting that energy with you, using that positivity, that energy with your close one, with your own self, to feel that happiness. So we are not getting enough time to get that happiness because we are busy getting that happiness. So we are working for moments together to get that happiness, but the moment it happens to us, we are again busy into getting some other happiness. And that is what all these sessions, they tell us. They are not to take our life so seriously. So if you simply start going easy about it, just live in the moment. It's very very easy to say and very difficult to actually practice, because we all are human. But even if we are able to do maybe 50% of our time, maybe 12 hours we are busy into things, even if 12 hours we go easy and we just live for the moment, that is good enough for us to have a right mind frame. So I totally agree with you. Listening to them actually adds lots of value, not just to us but also to the students, to our family, the younger generation. It makes a whole lot of difference. I totally agree with you. So now yes, Rakesh, you want to say something?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, this is Rakesh Ranjan Singh. So, ma'am, this I'm currently associated with the YMCA New Delhi as
Okay.
a assistant professor. Okay.
Okay.
So, about reframing, I will share my things.
Mm-hmm.
So, being as a person, professional, also I've been giving my services to certain company. Okay. So sometimes what happens when you are managing your work-life balances, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it got derailed, right?
Hmm.
Where it is very tough to adjust both places, right?
Hmm.
Since you are totally established with several assignments. Or same thing I experienced during in 2018. Got it?
Hmm.
So that time I went for Vipassana, right?
Okay.
For 10 days program I went. Or there I was off from worldly life.
Hmm.
Only those experts, they were advising us how to do Vipassana and how to reframe our mindset, right?
Hmm.
Or that technique was about to just see yourself within yourself only. That's what that was the crux of that particular program. You won't believe. Just 2 minutes back, you told about the we have to live in present, or those kind of babas or gurus they are preaching us. Those things has very small impact, I would say.
Hmm.
One side you are listening, other side it is going out, right?
Hmm.
But that particular vipassana, or the techniques they are advising, it has long lasting impact. It
Hmm.
is really powerful, really superb thing. Or that that particular situation helped me a lot. Earlier I
Hmm.
used to take sleep of say 8 hours, 9 hours. Now 5 hours sleep is enough for me. I feel refreshed every day. I've been doing it. Or it's a very superb thing, I would say. So reframing by a vipassana or that kind of practices, it is superb thing, I would say.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you for sharing your experience of Vipassana. See,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, Rakesh. It's all about, so there, without any disturbance, for 10 days, you were in an environment wherein it was all
Yeah.
about. Rakesh, if you can mute yourself, because when two things are unmuted, mine and your mic. So, yeah, thank you so much. So what happens in Vipassana, what actually, that is why it's done residential, wherein you don't have any disturbance of regular life, and you are there for 10, 15, 21 days, depending on your choice that is being made. And you don't have any interference of any other thought coming into you. You are not connected with your family, with your work, with other things. When we listen to somebody who has got expertise, if we listen to the same person for an hour, it's just an connect of 1 hour, and then again you are back to normal. So the longer that you stay in that kind of mindset, the longer time duration that you spend having that kind of positivity, having those kind of thoughts, having those kind of solution, practicing those techniques, the better impact and the longer lasting impact that you have. Even for Vipassana, you need to go back after maybe a couple of months, or for people it's a couple of years. For when you're listening to these gurus and these adhyatma gurus or the spiritual saints, here, if you're listening to them every day throughout your life, 1 hour you have dedicated to listening to them, which is equally good. If you're not doing all of it, if you're just getting into some kind of a yoga or practice or some breathing exercise or some meditation, if you can do, or if you get just normal walking with your music, or just normal running with your music, so any kind of thing that you're doing to spend time with yourself, the more you connect here. So here you're not actually connecting to music or walk or meditation or yoga or to a baba or a spiritual guru or to the vipassana guru. You are actually connecting with yourself. Different people have got different techniques to connect with self. That changes from person to person. What may work for me may not work for you. What may work for you may not work for the third person. But end of it, we need to identify what is that one two odd thing, or one two odd activities that helps me to connecting to myself. The more we try to identify that, we look at different options. Something like 5 years back, I could never think of running for 100 meters, and today I run marathon. So then I identified that if I develop this skill set, this will help me to be confident that I'm doing something for myself, and today it really helps. So whenever I am stressed, one of my stress management technique is going for a run with my music on. So different people have got different techniques, wherein that time you are really connected to yourself, and that helps you to to address other triggers in life, other unforeseen things, other undesired events, or other unexpected outcomes. So very true, Rakesh. totally depends on who you are, what kind of thing motivates you, and what kind of thing connects you with your own self. So different people have got different strategy. Use one of these, and that really helps you to come out of your stress. But in doing the entire thing, keep your mind open. Having perspectives means having your mind open to learn, to understand, to accept, acknowledge new ideas. Okay, so now I come to the next technique, and that is brainstorming. Brainstorming is a very common technique for all of us, being in academics and being in education. Whenever you have a concern, you can discuss it with your team. The team could be your colleagues, your institution, if it's something related to institution, could be your family members, could be your neighbors. So depending on who are the people who may help you to come up with a solution, or who may get impacted because of a given situation or a given problem, you can sit with them, discuss, welcome ideas, look at the common ideas, make a list of it, and then identify the new ideas instead of just thinking to yourself. But what happens in brainstorming, there is so much of chaos created, the ideas die their own death before actually, born. So what you should do, you should give the problem to all the stakeholders, could be your family members, could be your colleagues, could be your neighbors. Ask everybody to think in isolation about the problem, that what they can done, what they could have done, what is their perspective about it. So once everybody has understood, once everybody has done the silent brainstorming, then you do it with team. So then you do a group brainstorming, list the ideas on a wall, and arrive to the best option with agreement of everybody. So here what is happening, everybody is co-owning the problem, and so the solution will also be co-owned. Somebody is trying to say something. I can hear. Vasudeva ji, can you just mute your mic if you are not making a point, because there is some disturbance happening. Yeah, thank you. So that is a silent, the brainstorming. So you can do it in person, everybody in isolation, then everybody comes together, discusses everybody's idea, and then arrive to plan A and plan B, which is the best option, and then follow plan A with a backup of plan B. There is something called as negative brainstorming also. Here, instead of looking at solution, you ask everybody, or you think about not coming out of that stress. So maybe you have got a relationship issue with somebody, maybe you're not getting along with one of your kids. So here, instead of, you brainstorm that if I don't resolve it, what will happen? So my relation with my child will get deteriorated. Let it be. What will happen? Maybe my health will get affected. Let it be. What will happen? Maybe the child will get misled by somebody, or will get into the wrong direction. So when you look at the outcome of being in that state or being in that problem for longer, and when you look at the outcomes, the negative outcomes of that problem, then automatically you are pushed, you are motivated, you aspire to come out with the solution. So negative brainstorming is also one of the techniques, wherein instead of looking at solution, you look at that what worse can happen with you, and then that situation pushes you. But even when you're doing a negative brainstorming, the purpose should be to come out with the solution. The purpose should, the environment should be positive, your mindset should be creative, that what worse can happen, and the more you think of worse, the more you'll be motivated, pushed to come out of that existing situation. So that is brainstorming. The third technique is mind mapping. Mind mapping is very similar to brainstorming, but instead of doing it in a linear fashion, we do it from center to the end of the corner of the margin of the paper, wherein you write the main problem in the center, and then you with different color pencil, you write different available solution for this particular problem. So maybe your problem is your increasing weight. You don't know how to manage your weight. Every month it's 1 kg is increasing, and you can't help it. You always feel hungry. You always feel lethargic to get up in the morning and go for a walk. So then now you have written the problem in the center of the paper. So you write what are the different ways out. So maybe joining a gym, or maybe going for a walk, maybe going for a diet, maybe skipping your dinner because otherwise you can't manage your meal, or maybe having a protein rich breakfast. So there are different ways that is available. So you weigh all the options, what are the gains there, what you can do, what you cannot do, and based on it you actually come to the final outcome and you identify what are the ways out. So mind mapping is another way of doing it, and resolving your issues, which either you can do in person with yourself, or you can do it with your family or people who are related to you and that particular problem. And the last one, the insight one, this is another very, very good technique which comes with practice. Now, before I actually go into the technique, this is the bathtub. So the moment you look at this bathtub, what comes to your mind? What had happened with this bathtub? Any people, I'm sure many of you are with a science background.
So
This
base
bathtub
is not proper. Base. The
base is
support.
okay.
The
All
support.
right. Okay.
It's not rigid.
Is there some historic movement attached to this bathtub in the area of science and technology? Something happened in this bathtub, some great invention. I'm giving lots of clues now. Eureka. Yes, Chetan, Eureka. But Arshit,
Yeah, madam. Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Eureka Archimedes.
Yes, Eureka moment happened in this particular bathtub. Not this bathtub, but the moment you look at bathtub and how it happened. He was working on in this bathtub. I mean, not in this bathtub. He was working to get that particular formula for years together. He could not establish the correlation between different factors of that formula. But one fine morning in this bathtub, it got the entire solution, and that is called insight. Your brain is really working quite hard before this moment of insight. It's not, there is a lot going on behind the scenes. So it's not just that moment when you are getting, so you're not getting insight or having a gut feel is not an exercise which is happening at that particular moment. There is lots happening much before that. You know, lots of thought is already going in your mind before this actually happens. So to develop that insight, the right way is to look at the problem, even if it's resolved. Keep thinking about it, that what was the better way to resolve it. You know, keep taking up challenges and you know, look at the possible solution, look at the option that can help you to come out of that situation. The more you think, the more you analyze, the more you understand perspective, the more you look at point of views, the more you consider others' point of view, the more insight you will get for a given situation. You know, there are people I have seen, in fact, the social organization that I started in 2016 with my husband, there were lots of issues which we are coming up with the local community, because it was an unknown terrain, and you know, every morning would come with a new thing with some community member, some you know, issues with acceptance, some issues with the finances, and I would be like, what is the right way, this management way, that management way. And I co-founded it with my husband, but he will just sleep over the problem, and next morning he'll come with a very new, very innovative solution, and which will solve the entire issue. So I used to think that he has this gut feel, but actually then I realized that he would go silent and keep thinking about that particular situation, keep thinking about it from different point of view, others' point of view, a competition point of view, government's point of view, and then come up with a solution which will be a win-win for everybody. So this insight, what we feel that person has got a gut feel, as actually the person has got lots of thought, time, energy is being consumed to analyze that particular problem. So these are the 4 different techniques of creative thinking: getting an reframing, brainstorming, mind mapping, and insight. Apart from this, there are many other techniques which you may Google and you can find out, but just practicing couple of these 4 will actually fetch you better results, will get you lots of results whenever you are stressed. Now, as I had said, that being you know, stress free ourselves is not enough, because we are the community leaders, not just for our institution, but also for our family, our neighbors, because we belong to that educated class. We belong to the class which has got some thought, has got some logic, has got some maturity to you know, get community, you know, to bring the change in the community. So for that, not for the entire community, but I have listed a couple of things which you can do to, help your students. Somebody spoke about the younger generation, being so stressed, being so diverted, being so carried away because of the interference of technology, because of extensive use of technology, or because of the too much of expectation from their environment, or because of the so many challenges because of this pandemic. So what are the couple of things which you can do to take them out of the stress? So one of the thing is very important is for us, especially because we most of the time we don't do it. We try to compare ourselves with our students. When we were students, so this is what our aspiration was. When we were growing, so these were the kind of challenges, and this is how we dealt with it. We have to understand they are different generations. They have different set of aspirations. So their solutions, their aspirations are very different from us, and so the solutions would also be, so the perspective would also be. So understanding, realizing ourselves, this fact is very important, not just for students, for our our own kids also, kids in our family. We don't have to impose our aspirations. So if we used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they are more comfortable studying till 3 o'clock in the morning and then sleeping till late, let it be. Don't push your lifestyle, your discipline, your kind of growth that you have seen on others. They have got different set of aspirations, and first thing we have to do is we have to respect it, we have to accept it. Then let's start giving them open-ended projects, and not just the academic projects, but otherwise also related to industry, related to entrepreneurship opportunities, related to the society, related to some social cause, or related to some area of their interest. Maybe they are interested in gaming, or they are interested in social media, or they are interested in photography. So give some assignment wherein they can apply, they can use their area into that academic project. Share and explore options, help them to explore options. Maybe job market is bad, so instead of telling them that you have to do this, or you have to get into a given job, or you can't get into a job, you will not get a good job. It's better to help them with ideas that why not you're looking at self-employment, why not you are enrolling for one more skill course, why not you are getting into photography, which you're very good at, you can look at it as a part-time thing. Why not you're interning with a startup, so you'll get an understanding of if you have to start your startup maybe 3 years down the line. So encouraging, and allow them to come up with ideas. Don't stop them, don't try to push your thoughts, your aspirations on them. Ask them to work with different groups, not with the same friends all the time. The more they work with others, the more they understand others' perspective, the more they learn to manage different people, is how they will come out of stress, they will get newness in life, they will get more creative. Again, highlighting limitations with work plan. We don't have to give them rosy picture that don't worry, oh, this year also it's going to be great placement. We all know for a matter of fact that this year the placements are not going to be so great, but that is not end of the world. If placement is not great, these are the XYZ thing you can do. Maybe you can enroll for a master's course in the meantime, or maybe you can do a part-time MBA along with the present job, so that your profile value or your CV value goes up. And end of it, tell them that this is not end of the world, which we all tell them. But what happens, we encourage them with a different dialogue, and we expect them to perform with a different dialogue. So we have to align our thoughts in terms of what we are encouraging, what we are preaching. We also practice it as an educator, as a coach, as a counselor, as a trainer. And last but not the least, let's get some humor in our life. Not just in our life, but also in their life. Allow them to talk, allow them to talk as per their generation. It should not be a very, very closed environment all the time, where it's always about the to-dos and the learning outcomes and the objective and the session plan. Let's develop our classes much more beyond, and let's add storytelling, let's involve them in conduct of the class. So these are the couple of things by which we can help them to manage their stress and get into their creative self. So that was all from my side for now. Now, before I get into my puzzles again, I would like to know, anybody has any point to make, you want to talk about anything, feel absolutely free to talk about it. Any point which you want to make. If you have any question, if you want to share some experience which you had. Anyone? Nothing? Thank you, Dr. Murthy. All right, so now I come to the first puzzle which I had given, that 6 eggs in a basket. I have given 1 egg each to my 6 neighbors, and still there is 1 egg there in the basket. How is it possible? Anybody has the answer? You can just unmute and talk. Now is the time to share the answer. Anybody has the answer, or if you don't want to talk, you can just write in the chat box that how 1 egg is still in the basket. How 1 egg is still in the basket? Anybody? I have one more puzzle. If I get an answer quickly, then I'll be able to do that another puzzle also with you. Anybody? Oh, I was expecting lots of answers. You can just unmute and talk. One person kept it back. What? Chetan, if you can elaborate. The basket and the eggs are with me. Kept it back. To me, no. The eggs are with my all the neighbors. I don't have any egg, but the egg is in the basket. There is 1 egg in the basket. They have not given it back to me. They all took 1 egg which I had given, but still there is 1 egg in the basket. Nobody gave it back. Anyone? I hope nobody is going to Google to find the answer, because you'll get the answer on Google. Anyone?
Is there any complimentary thing, like if you buy 6, you'll get 1 more?
No. I had only 6. There was no complimentary. I didn't have the 7th egg. So I have given 1 egg each to my 6 neighbors, and 1 egg is still lying in the basket. How is it possible? Okay, anyone? Anyone wants to make an attempt? Feel absolutely free to make an attempt here. Okay, so now because I have got one more riddle for all of you, you know, keep, I was talking of sense of humor and creativity, keep solving these kind of riddles, you know, they get you back to back to your younger self, the child self, when you, you know, if you remember, we used to discuss so many riddles and puzzles all the time. Also, they help you to get some newness in your life. They help you to think out of the box. So answer is that one of the friend I had gifted the cane basket also. So one of the neighbors had got the basket along with the egg. So that is the answer for you. So now are we ready for the second riddle? I am 1 out of, no, I am not 1 out of 6, Priyanka. 7th egg is hidden below, no. So yeah, so now the answer is clear that one of the friends had got, I had gifted the cane basket along with the egg. So that is how 1 egg is still in the basket, and each one of them have got the 6 eggs. So that was the riddle. Now we can do 2 things. Either we can have another riddle, or I can take any question if there are any questions related to stress or related to some issue which you're facing, which you feel that you want me to take the another riddle, or you want to ask some question? Anybody? You want to solve another riddle? That's an interesting one. So let's look at the riddle, as I'm not getting any question. So now this is the bridge. Again, please don't go back to Google and don't write the answer until we have those 2 minutes for everybody to think about it. So this is the bridge in midst of a jungle safari, and this is a family of 4, mother, father, and 2 kids, a son and a daughter. What happens, they decide, you know, around afternoon, they decide to cross the bridge. This is the old bridge and looks like kind of rundown, but they attempt and they cross over the bridge, only to find once they cross that there are zombies on the other side of the bridge, and that is why it was so run down. Now what happens now, because zombies have seen that there are these, you know, people other side of the bridge, they are going to cross the bridge and eat them up. So this family now has got only 17 minutes. You know, within 17 minutes, if they don't cross the bridge, the zombies will come, either eat them up and cross the bridge and then eat the entire, you know, finish the entire civilization. So now, but there are challenges. Father will take 5 minutes to cross the bridge. Mother will take 10 minutes. Son will take only 1 minute because he's been an NCC cadet, and daughter will take 2 minutes. Another challenge is that a bridge can only hold 2 people at a time. So out of those 4 now, because it's run down, while going somehow they manage, but while coming back, it can only take 2 people at a time. So unless until 2 of them go to the other side, the third one cannot start. Also, these 2 people have to have 1 lantern in their hand. There is just 1 lantern which they have to keep, because it's now, by now it's dark, it's late evening, and if they don't have the lantern, they will fall down in the river. So there has to be the lantern in the hand always, whoever is crossing the bridge together. Okay. So now you have to solve it, that how do they cross the bridge within 17 minutes, wherein only 2 of them can be on the bridge at a given point of time with a lantern. All right. And if they don't cross it in 17 minutes, they are going to be taken by zombies, and zombies will also come to the other side of the bridge. Have you understood the question well? In 17 minutes, how do they cross the bridge when only 2 of them can cross at a given point of time? And they have to have a lantern also while they're crossing. So it's 1:13 now. We will discuss the answer at 1:15 sharp. That's the time our session also gets over. 2 minutes you think about it. Don't share the answer before 1:15. So work at your end, share the answer only at 1:15. This is again about perspectives. Reframe the riddle. Reframe the roles of the family members. We've got 1 more minute left. Yeah, so if someone is done, you can share it either in the chat box, or I prefer, because we don't have time. Okay, Sanjeev says son will take first mother. So then 10 minutes gone, then return and 11 minutes. Father is 5 minutes, 16 minutes. So how he will come back and take the daughter. So you have to also calculate, Sanjeev, the time of returning. That I think you have not factored. Okay. So, because whoever returns has to return with the lantern. So now any other question, you can just unmute and talk. Anybody wants to unmute and talk? Anybody? If you have the answer or you want to make an attempt, just unmute and talk. Or if you are writing in the chat box, that will also do. But unmuting I'll prefer, because your time is up. You will have your second session also, third session also. So yeah, move time. Okay, son and daughter 2 minutes. Son returns 3 minutes. Father and mother 10 minutes. Daughter returns 2 minutes. Son. Wonderful. Can we all unmute and clap for Chetan? Can we all clap for Chetan, please? Wonderful, wonderful, Chetan. So that is the answer in front of us. Chetan has actually solved it. It's about the son and daughter will go in 2 minutes. Son will be back with the lantern in 1 minute. Father and mother go in 10 minutes. Daughter back in 2 minutes, and then son and daughter go in 2 minutes, 17 minutes, they come back and cut the bridge, and the zombies remain the other side of the thing. The other learning from this riddle is also that we should not take our, younger generation granted or less competent. They can be equally resourceful in terms of handling lots of challenges in our life. We just need to communicate and understand their point of view. So with that, we come to the end of the session. It was really wonderful, from my side. I had a really great time, and lots of conversation has. Uh, okay, you are Srinivasa. All right, Mr. Srinivasa, that is wonderful. Chetan is the admin. All right, whoever, but whatever we were talking about that ID. So thank you so much, and it was great knowing all of you. I now take Dr. Ahmed's permission to log out and meet up with you all very soon somewhere on the similar kind of platform. Our world is too small, so we may cross our path sooner sometime in life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, everybody.
It's what really a wonderful show.
Thank you.
So before we conclude the session, we will have a brief summary that what we had in the session. This session was carried by Ms. Bandana Roy. She opened her session with interaction with participants on stress management and creative thinking. She collected the practice that participants used in their lives and views. She used puzzle to explain what is stress. She concluded that stress stimulates level of alertness. Stress can be acute or chronic. Causes of stress, understanding creativity. She explained creativity techniques, reframe metrics. She was correlating most of her claims with our day-to-day activity. She explained stages of brainstorm and its outcome. And she explained mind mapping and insight and the power of empowerment. She concluded with puzzles and interactive sessions with our participants. So it was very interesting and very interactive with you, madam. And we have collected a lot of information from you. So I thank Ms. Bandana Roy on behalf of all our participants, on behalf of Department of Mechanical Engineering, Genesee Shivamoga, and on behalf of all our coordinators. So thank you very much, madam.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, all of you. Enjoy the winters. Bye-bye.
Thank you, madam. Dear participants, there is an announcement to you that the afternoon session will start from 2:30 p.m. and there is a slight change in the title, which is Hands-on Design Thinking by Mahesha B.R. Pandit. I repeat, the title has been changed to Hands-on Design Thinking by Mahesha B.R. Pandit. And so now we will break for the lunch and we will join sharply at 2:30 p.m. So thank you one and all for being with us.